Friday, January 9th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Meteorologist Matthew East here with you. Lot to talk about in today's edition of the video. Let's get right into it. We'll start with a look at the numbers currently across the region. It is chilly, not nearly as cold as what we had at this point yesterday, but many of us have been 30 plus hours, in some spots more, below freezing, and a lot of 20s on the board in many spots. Some wind stirring around, mainly southwest winds this morning, but wind nonetheless, and we have wind chill values in the teens in a good number of spots, even some single digits, especially up in some mountain spots early this morning. Speaking of the mountains, there is a look at the Banner Elk web camera this morning. The temperature there now 14 degrees with a wind chill at 5. Again, it's pretty cold all across the region. Let's check some of those mountain temperatures here. It's 15 degrees in Rainbow Springs, 22 in Cherokee. I have a temperature at Brevard at 19 degrees, Busick at 21. And then you get up into the northwestern North Carolina there. Banner Elk, as I mentioned, at 14. Beechmount at 18. And Linville at 16 early this morning. Around the region, a lot of cold air again. It's 8 in Chicago, 24 in Huntsville, Atlanta, 22, 32 in Mobile and Tallahassee, and pretty cold all across our region as well. But again, not actually, that banner is incorrect. It's not 7 a.m. Eastern Time temperatures. Those are temperatures here, 5 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. I apologize for that. Across the Triad viewing area, there's your wind chill values. A lot of teens on the board early this morning. Same story across the Charlotte viewing area, too. Pretty quiet, although there is a little bit of precipitation around the region, and we do have a cold front inbound into the region, and as that front slides on in, the result's going to be a reinforcing shot of colder air heading on in. All right, let's take a more detailed look at the radar imagery this morning. Over in the eastern parts of North Carolina, through the coastal plains, some of the Sandhills region, a little bit of light freezing precipitation and frozen precipitation this morning. Mainly a little bit of light freezing rain in some instances. Not a huge deal, but enough to maybe cause a glazing of ice on some elevated surfaces over there closer to the coast. But most of the Piedmont staying precip free today. There comes your cold front sliding on in. Going to be a little bit milder today, or at least not as cold today. We'll term it that way. There's your highs across the region this afternoon. But behind that cold front, a reinforcing cold high pressure area moving in. It's going to be a pretty cold Saturday. A lot of 30s for highs. Some spots struggling to try to make it above freezing tomorrow afternoon across the Piedmont and the foothill zones. And then we get on into Sunday, and that's when things begin to kind of stir up off to our southwest. We're going to see multiple waves of low pressure develop in the northern Gulf and play a role in our weather beginning late Sunday and continuing through much of next week. Clouds increase Sunday, and then by Sunday afternoon, parts of South Carolina and extreme southwestern North Carolina could begin to see a little light rain, and then that rain really ramps up in coverage and as we get deeper into Sunday night. Your Sunday highs looking like that across the region. And I'm going to show you the detailed modeling here in just a second, but this is just kind of an overview next week. Here we go. Monday morning, one wave of low pressure moving through, and as we go through Tuesday and Wednesday, it looks like tons of clouds. Could see some drizzle or maybe freezing drizzle in some spots there, and then eventually maybe another decent storm system in the Wednesday night and Thursday morning time period. Quickly, before I get into the detailed modeling, there's your ski resort information. Really looking nice at all the resorts across the region. Good base steps, good conditions too, if you'd like to head up that way. All right, this is the GFS model. Now, this is going to be the 0Z run of the GFS model. These are the images I snagged for today's edition of the video. 6Z run coming in a little bit different. I'll mention that in just a second. This is Monday afternoon. You're looking at a cool rain scenario. Highs Monday probably making it up into the 40s. But then we see a strong area of high pressure over the northern plains. You can't really see it on the top of this map here, but strong high pressure wedging down the eastern side of the mountains, and that's where you get later Tuesday night and Wednesday. We see a lot of clouds. Could have some light rain or light freezing rain at times across the Piedmont of North Carolina. We go out to Thursday morning, and that's when we have the potential to see a little bit of a more decent low pressure pop off the coast. And these images, by the way, of the GFS model have been courtesy of weatherbell.com. And you notice here, It's indicating a pretty decent little shot of wintry precipitation here Wednesday night into Thursday morning. What about the European model? Okay, well, let me show you that. This is Tuesday night, and I just wanted to show you that snapshot here of, again, Tuesday night, and Wednesday. You have some light precipitation trying to occur from time to time, and here's the surface temperatures at that point in time. You're sub-freezing all the way down to the northern South Carolina. So that could certainly be a little bit of light freezing rain or freezing drizzle, and we'll need to continue to refine that forecast for you. And then here's the Europeans' representation of that Thursday morning system. It's a little bit weaker than the GFS, but taken at face value, that's actually some snow in the foothills areas and the mountains, and some freezing rain in some other spots outside of the snow area. So really, it's a complex forecast, and this is kind of what I've been mentioning. We're going to have to watch the timing of these disturbances next week with how they interact with areas of high pressure trying to form a pretty good wedge down the eastern side of the mountains. And it's going to bear watching. It's going to be really tough to key on with any significant advance notice, any overly significant winter weather possibilities, but I do think there are some possibilities there, especially across the cold air damming regions of North Carolina, for at least a little bit of wintry precip next week, and we'll certainly keep refining and working on that forecast for you. All right, that's it for today's edition of the video. Everybody have a wonderful day, wonderful weekend, and God bless.